Welcome to episode 2 of the RDP, the injury Nostradamus. Like Kevin Rudd, we are back to have another crack at this thing. We'll be discussing the Hawthorn game, the injury situation, briefly touch on Job and his fabulous confession, looking at the Essendon game, some tips, and we'll hear a girl say yes. I am QS, and with me I have pantskyle.
G'day.
Keys.
Hello, and hello to the 5 listeners, or whoever will listen to this week.
Live listeners.
Put the Giants crowd to shame.
The Giants crowd. And I also have Toshowyouwhy, the Doc.
How you going?
I'm very well, thanks. Doc, how are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. I don't know what to say there.
Bit of a
Why
general...
don't we get that personalised sort of intro? You have a conversation with Doc, but not with me.
Oh, I was giving the 6 people what they want, mate.
Yeah.
Shit.
Didn't you get the feedback?
Exactly.
Well, actually,
we want Doc.
you might get a few followers now your microphone works.
Yeah, you sound
I
good
won't
this
do
week.
that.
It does sound very good. But, okay, just out of fairness, how are you, Kyle?
Oh, I'm all right.
Was it worth it?
It was a good thing
I'm
to
just
go back
happy.
to that then.
And Keys, how are you?
I'm well, I'm wet. Raining up here. It's supposed to be freaking dry
Are
season.
you doing this in the bath?
No, it's rain, not a bath.
Just a
Candles on.
nice small room with some good echo going on. Right, let's launch into it. This week we had the pleasure of reviewing a match, or trying to review a match. We took on the Mighty Hawks at an odd location, Etihad Stadium, and much to our surprise, we actually put up a bit of a fight. So,
Not to my surprise.
yeah, but you tipped to win, Kyle, so there is a surprise.
You were miles
there,
off.
'cause we lost.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
9 points. Jeez, honestly.
Not even close.
29 points off.
Yeah, it's a big margin. It's below zero. However, we did talk about honourable loss, but we won't talk about it in that sense because that's reserved for other clubs. We're much better than that. And we did quite well. We got under the line. I think the line was about 8 goals from memory, wasn't it, Keys?
I think that was the one I made up.
That was a good
I think
line.
The official one was about 6 or 7 goals, but
So-
we still got under that.
All right, so technically we won.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So the one Hawthorn listener that had a bit of a listen, Stephen Weller, there you go. We actually had a win over you blokes.
Yeah, what a hero. Thanks for listening, mate. That's a huge effort going to someone else's.
I
I thought
think
that was amazing.
I think it is.
Either that or just put a thumbs up anyway and didn't actually listen
Well,
to
I'm
it.
happy with that too.
Yeah, it's acknowledging the existence in our infancy.
All money in our pockets.
Yeah, that's right. So, I guess personally for me, the thing, I mean, I wasn't disappointed. Well, I was disappointed we lost, but I was actually more disappointed with the effort that we showed that was missing for the previous 11 rounds, taking into account that it was a bye round in round 12. So, what changed? I mean, I must admit I didn't see much of the match because I was out. So, who can talk to me about that? I reckon Kyle's looking pretty good to give us a bit of a rundown on what he thought about the match.
Yeah. I actually think that the midfield was excellent. We won that actual battle against what we thought last week they were going to smash us in that area. Their forward line was very good, so I was wrong on that sort of tip. Kennedy played a good game. I don't think Darling really did anything or the rest of our forward line, but yeah, I was really impressed with the midfield.
Yeah, look, it looked like there was a bit more fluency going through there, and I think, Keys, you mentioned last week that we weren't good enough to, or not good enough by foot, or not clean enough by foot to actually take it through the middle, but it appeared from the limited bits that I did see that we were trying to do that at least.
Yeah, we did something to our usage.
I'm sorry.
Mine's going off here.
This is so amateurish.
Telemarketers. Much cleaner. Much cleaner through the middle. We seem to change up our rotations. Gaff spent more time in the centre, which was easily
How
his
good was
best game
he?
for the year.
Yep.
The thing, probably the biggest disappointment was we just coughed up easy goals consistently all game, and that's what did us in. I think we played well everywhere else, but they just seemed to get hold of us in that forward 50, and every time they needed the goal, they'd go down and get one, and often without a lot of pressure, which was unusual in a sense for our defence, but I don't know.
Yeah, from what I saw, it looked like there was no real clean entry into our 50. We didn't take a lot of good, great, uncontested marks. So everything that went in there seemed to be under pressure, and it seemed that we had to work hard for every goal. The encouraging thing is that we were getting it in there, or winning the clearances, etc. But then again, it's not much good doing that unless you can lower the eyes and hit a bloke on the chest and give him a chance to actually set up for goal. But another thing that I did notice is that our accuracy was a lot better, and again, that was something that Doc touched on last week. Is that something you thought as well? We looked a lot more confident kicking for goal. Is that a result of the roof being shut?
Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure why there was a sudden improvement in that. I mean, Lacroix still missed a couple, which is a worry. But you know, we got the ball into to Kennedy, his hands, and he's been kicking brilliantly all season, despite his incredible run up. I'm not sure if you blokes have seen it, but he does this little thing with his feet, and he just sort of like skips a little bit before he kicks it.
Oh, does he?
I haven't picked that up before.
No.
I have to watch the next game.
You got to really
highlight it.
Well, don't blink because you'll miss it. You really got to sort of keep your eyes peeled. But he does this little funny thing. But I think he kicked 5-1 in the end. I can't remember if Darling missed too many as well as his goal, but I think more pleasingly, Shuey kicked a couple on the run as well. Got some goals out of the midfield, which hasn't happened for, well, pretty much all season, so I think that certainly helps.
I think there's a conspiracy. It just seems when we wear that jumper, we actually play a lot better without trying to get into a discussion about the home jumper versus the wings. But it's just a side note, just a casual side note that any of the two listeners can put into their mind. Look,
Zen Zen.
There you go. You've done a shout out, Kyle. Well done. Are we?
Yes. You said one of two.
Are we doing these awkward silences for Coxie just purely because he pointed them out?
Yeah, I don't think we should do anything for his benefit. He's a swine, and we shouldn't even talk about
I
him.
actually think we should have a minute's silence for him.
But they're not awkward at all. I actually quite enjoy them. It gives you a chance to recharge, re-energise, and come up with some new thoughts.
It's because our answers are so well thought out. We've got to take some time to think about this sort of level of intelligence. Coxie wouldn't know that. He just blurts out the first nonsense that comes into his brain. For brilliance, you've got to take some time, Coxie. Settle down, mate.
Yes. I think, though, he's excited about the fact that Keith said for once he was right. But we digress. So we can't spend too much time talking about that fella. He's had his mention. That's about all he's going to get, really.
He's a flog.
And on that note, I mean, the effort was certainly there. Everything that we'd been talking about, basically the whole of Bigfooty Eagles board, seemed to be impressed with the effort that was there. To me, it was a winnable game. Had we been more clean, we did well in the clearances. It just seemed that we weren't clean with possession. There was a couple of shockers I noticed from Jack Darling. There's one inside I think he was inside the centre square and tried to put it through somewhere to the forward line and just turned it straight over, and it resulted in a Hawthorn goal. Which things like that we just need to eradicate. But certainly the effort had improved, which is something that seemed to be missing, and everyone was quite critical of. So pretty pleased with that. But one thing I'm not pleased about is a couple of blokes going down, namely Scooter and Big Shannon Hearn. Now, Doc, last week you said this.
Someone's going to get injured. There's going to be a massive whinge about the umpires.
You've talked about injuries. You've forecast it. So it's on you, buddy. I mean, what does that mean for us? Now, you have to talk about this because you're the Nostradamus that predicted it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I'll wear that burden. I think we saw just in that game how big a loss Hearn was. I think the result might have been different had we have got a full game out of him. We probably only got about 15 minutes or so. But if we had have got his impact coming off half back and his good decision making and fantastic ball use going forward, then maybe we could have made the most of our dominant field position at some stage. Scooter, I think, played probably pretty close to his best game of the season as well against Hawthorn. I don't know if anyone else would agree with that. He seemed to have a bit of... You would?
Yep.
Excellent, that's what I want to hear. He had that hunger back for the footy, which I don't think he's had for much of this season. So I'm a bit disappointed to see that he's gone down as well. And I pray to God that all these Shuey with a hamstring rumours turn out to be nonsense, because I asked for him to have a big one last week as well, and he certainly did that. And I really hope that he doesn't have to miss out on pushing this form through, because he could be the difference in this game coming up tomorrow night.
Oh, certainly. And I think the more important thing too, for the wider audience, if there is any, is the Dream Team aspect. I mean, how many people had Scott Selwood in their side? I'm not sure whether you had him. You don't play Dream Team because you play that other game, don't you, Kyle?
Supercoach, yes, sir.
Yes. Did you have Scott Selwood?
Absolutely not.
No, neither did I in my Dream
No,
Teams.
me either.
Do you play as well, Doc?
I play Dream Team, yeah. I think I'm in the Division 2 on the Eagles board league.
Oh.
And I'm somewhere around the top 8 somewhere. Just lurking dangerously.
So you're Richmond?
Yes. Well, let's say Fremantle.
Fremantle are entrenched, so maybe Fremantle in 2010, maybe. But,
all right, let's say that 2010 Fremantle. That's me.
There you go. You're just lurking around. But certainly Scott Selwood's going to be missed in there. He's I guess his cleanliness of ball use may not be missed too much at the moment, and we've got to be kind to him here because he was much improved last week. But certainly his tackling ability and his ability to lock down on guys now, that would definitely come in handy, especially against Essendon this week, which we'll talk about later. But those teams that have those running midfielders, certainly he does provide a bit of a shutdown option and tries to run off and get some of the footy himself. So, right, and also some news that we were hit with today is that Mark Nikoski has injured his wrist. He did it in a tackle or something whilst playing for Subiaco on the weekend, and he's gone for 3 months. Now, obviously, that's the rest of the season gone. He hasn't played since the preliminary final in 2011. He's 29. What does that do to his career, Kyle?
It's all over. Red Rover.
Oh, that's a very pessimistic look. How about Doc?
Well,
have you got anything better for us?
No, you could probably... Shut up, Kyle. I'm trying to talk. You could probably safely send him off to the glue factory, I think. I think it's all over for poor old Mark Nikoski.
Oh, well, in that case, Kyle, continue.
He's dead. Oh, yes,
He's dead.
okay.
He's effectively dead.
Well, we can't offer him a new contract. We can't be like, he's a clubman, let's just see him through this injury or whatever. No, it's salary cap space. He's not going to play another game of AFL football. He's dead. Get out.
Yep. There's no chance of him getting a 1-year deal. What do you reckon, Keys?
Very hard to see at his age, him coming back. I mean, he was going to be battling anyway, I think, regardless of this latest injury. I think this one just about seals the deal for him. He can't, great bloke, great player when he's fit, but he just can't get on the park. And we're going to need to turn over our list.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be one of the unlucky ones, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
If we're going to carry an injury-prone player, I'd rather we persist with Dick.
You would?
I bet.
Yep. So that just had to happen, didn't it? So
get Dick in.
Dick.
That's a lot of dick.
But it's a lot of Dick.
Sausage fest.
Yeah. It's like we're almost in the RDT again.
What is the RDP?
Yep, I guess. Random Dick podcast. But on topic, hard to see Nikoski going on another year. Might be a good development role for him at the club.
Oh, he's
for
a very
next
good.
year.
Yeah, he's very good with the kids. He'll be a
Yeah.
coach, definitely.
Yep, and I've seen some footage of him actually doing some training as a physio with the club physio at the Eagles. So he might be looking to that as a career after footy, but certainly sad to see him go because he was in absolutely career best form in 2011, and it was just a massive blow to have him out.
Yes, all those years ago.
Yes,
we were good.
The glory years.
Sign him for 5 more years.
Yes. So
years.
anyway,
The other thing was the 4-year contract for Lecker.
Lacroix. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Which is
four
nice
years.
to have him secured away.
It is definitely.
4 years, maybe a year too long, given that he's 27. And if the $2 million is the reported contract over the 4 years, so we're probably paying at the high end of his value, I would have thought.
He goes on the veterans list, though, doesn't he? Soon.
Yeah, but the veterans list, it's not the half the salary that it used to be. It's $100,000 per player.
Right.
So you don't get the same benefit with the veterans salary that you used to.
Oh, well, that's good information. But
nice to see him commit to the club, though. That's a good.
Certainly, I think, and things like that. Senior players signing on for extended periods is only good for the younger guys that we're trying to bring through, like your Gaff and your Shuey and your Schofield. I think that those guys are pretty much set to stick around anyway. In my mind, they seem quite settled and happy. There seems to be a good young group there too that like playing together. And obviously, you touched on Shannon Hearn. Who was taking the kickouts? If anyone wants to.
I rotated it through. Losing Hearn early, I think that it really unsettled our back line. And I think that was part of the reason why we had goals kicked against us so easily. It threw us out, and particularly with Waters coming back and playing his first game for a while. Last had missed a game. We looked a little disorganised down back, it must be said, and I think Hearn being out was a big part of that. I think Wilson took some kick-ins. There wasn't one particular player that I can remember, albeit that Hawthorn didn't kick that many points either. So we didn't have that many kick-ins. I think at three-quarter time, I think Hawthorn only kicked 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, they were certainly pretty accurate, and that's the problem. And I seem to notice that teams, when they play against us, are just deadly accurate. And they kick these goals that are just absolute flukes.
Especially Hawthorn too, because they've been almost as bad as us in front of goal for much of this season, and they turned it on. So I think we were robbed, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I think we robbed ourselves, to be honest.
Yeah.
There was ample opportunity for us to actually win that game, and it would have been a really good one to win. However, as we talked about, the line was 6 or 7 goals, and we were well underneath that, so we actually won, if that makes us feel any better, which it probably doesn't.
Not at all.
No, the other thing
my hangover on Saturday morning didn't think we'd won.
It wasn't a good one.
It was a freaking shocker.
I don't think anyone has a winning hangover, do they? Unless you wake up in a good circumstance.
Yeah, no, it certainly wasn't. Wasn't feeling all that flash Saturday
You
morning.
sound like he's still struggling too.
Yeah, I know. He's not even.
He's just sort of tailing off like, oh, it wasn't good. He's been here before.
He doesn't sound his sprightly self. Gee whiz. Now, the other thing that you talked about was a massive whinge about the umpires. Now, I noticed a thread started on Kyle's domain, the main board, about the chicken wing with Hodge. I'm going to put it out there. There was nothing in that for me. How about you, fellas?
Oh, no, definitely not. I didn't even realise that.
Nothing in it.
That
Just
occurred.
unfortunate.
I think so too, and it's not even comparable to the Judd one. Judd, obviously, he had the guy supine on the ground, and he couldn't protect himself, and he just repeatedly pulled it up. So it's a completely different scenario, and it looked as if as soon as Hodge realised where the arm was, he let go. So that was the right thing to do, and as a consequence, nothing in it. But there was those little twos and fro's between Big Easy, Eric McKenzie, and Buddy Franklin. Buddy got pinged for a few. Now, one needs to ask himself, well, if they were pretty much all the same type of contact, why they weren't paid the other way as well. Whether Buddy's reputation with giving away free kicks actually has an impact on that. Would you say that may be a fair comment, Keys?
I think so. I think Buddy certainly has grounds to say he was pretty hard done by it. I think there was a couple of ones that McKenzie got, which when the whistle blew, you thought, okay, that's going to be a hold, which it was. And then it went McKenzie, and you sort of scratched your head. I mean, Buddy did have a bit of Eric's jumper in his hand on a couple of occasions, but if they're going to pay those ones, I'd rather they just let them go rather than pick out the defender. But yeah, Buddy was hard done by, I think it's fair to say. But he does bring along himself a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think he's a victim of his own circumstance, really. I mean, it was, from what I did see, it looked like it was all pretty fair, and maybe the ump should have let it go a bit more than perhaps they did. But they've obviously seen something they didn't like, whether it just be fortuitous for us, or whether, as I said, that he is a victim of his own circumstance. But I thought he played a better game, but it's not Bigfooty Hawks board, so we can't spend too much time talking about the value of Buddy Franklin to our team.
We'll wait till he's playing for us next year, then we can talk about him.
McKenzie was certainly the best of our defenders. McKenzie did play a good game.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, I think if you see the MVP thread for that particular game, a lot of the ratings are pretty on the money. I mean, it seems that the midfielders get a lot of the kudos when we do get up and about and sort of put in a bit of an effort. But I certainly think that he was probably one of the rocks at the back line, and he's definitely growing this season. That's for sure. I mean, you look at some of the votes: 5 Shuey, 4 Josh Kennedy, 3 for Gaff, 2 McKenzie, and 1 for Nick Nat. So he is making an appearance in most of the votes, but I did think Shuey was probably the best on the ground for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Certainly one of the games he needed to play well in to sort of prove that, well, he can have a good game against good sides and good opponents. And he seemed to sort of take the bull by the horns a little bit. And as was mentioned earlier, Andrew Gaff, once he was put into the middle, was a completely different player. He seems to relish getting hold of the ball and being able to run with it, and he's not getting enough of that on the wing. The game plan seems to be when you bomb it out there, the opposition teams know it's going out there, so he's not going to get a lot of free ball use.
More importantly, he was tackling as well. I think he would have had more tackles on last Friday night than he has the rest of the season combined. Before that, someone's had a word to him over the bye and said, "Sort it out, Andrew," and he sorted it out. Good on him. He had a really good game.
Yeah. Good point. Yep. So sorry, Keys, you go.
Yeah, no, he was. His tackling was like, there's a couple of times I thought it looked like the Hawthorn player you'd expect the Hawthorn player was just going to run around him because that's what opposition teams had done to him. But he did. He held on and forced a spillage or lost it.
That's all we're really asking of him too, isn't it?
He's so drunk.
Didn't allow a clean disposal.
Have you got notes, dear?
Notes? No. I'm watching
notes.
I'm sort of half watching Hewitt play some funny-looking African dude in tennis.
We'll be cutting that.
Or Jamaica, there's a guy, there's a Rastafari, he's got bloody hair down to his arse on dreadies.
This is the best podcast ever.
This is the official Big Tennis podcast for those banned on Big Tennis. To coin a phrase often used.
No rafter.
Anyway.
Pat Cash, mate.
Shall we move on?
We shall.
Might need to.
Look, I think I'm going to put it nicely. We've had an unpleasant surprise with the team selections this week, and I must admit that it's quite nice to be discussing the team as selected. Normally, if we do this on a Wednesday night, we're not going to get a chance to do that, so we should probably make the most of it, I think. So yes. The obvious one straight away, much to the chagrin of most of the Bigfooty Eagles board, is that young Blaine Train has received the axe. What do we all make of that? Let's go alphabetically. Doc, you start with a D, so you can go first.
That's impressive. I thought you dug yourself into a hell of a hole there. Hang on. Anyway, Blaine, I'm not as 100% against it as some other people are. Certainly, if Hearn wasn't injured, I think it would have been a better call. But given that we're going to be lacking his kicking, I probably would have held on to him for another week. But in saying that, I think with Shepherd and Smith coming back in, they've made the call to go for speed ahead of ball use. Definitely in Smith's case, ahead of ball use. So, we'll have to wait and see if that works. If it does work, then it's a masterstroke, and to a certain extent, it's pretty much what everyone's been asking for much of the season. That especially down back, we need to be quicker. Now, whether Butler should have been on the chopping block before Wilson is another question. But I think there's positives to it. I think he played really well against St Kilda. Against Hawthorn, he looked a little more out of his depth. But that was more with positioning rather than kicking the footy, which he's fantastic at. So, I think there could be some positives to Smith and Shepherd coming back in. Unfortunate that Blaine has to cop it, but I'm sure he'll get another chance.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much in your camp there that he would have provided a good, clean kicking option and probably an obvious one to take the kick-outs. But having said that, Essendon are quite quick, and I see in the lineup. I know it doesn't mean too much, but they put Smith right opposed to Alwyn Davey, who's a small, who's quite quick. So they've obviously, as you said, trying to sort of get that speed happening. But that said, Smith, he's been criticised for not using his speed too much, and I think I talked about it on the board today that he just seems a completely different player in the waffle than he does when he comes at AFL level, whether that's a lack of confidence or something else. But I don't know about that one. Maybe Keyser can give us a bit of insight onto why that may be. I told you I was going alphabetically. So
with Wilson, the only thing
with Wilson
is maybe his defensive best. I think he played on Gunston. Against the Hawks, and I think Gunston ended up with 5 in the finish. So
that's correct.
Maybe that's something behind it. He perhaps wasn't playing to instructions. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit disappointed to see him out. I think it would have been nice to see the match committee back some of the younger players in and give them a run and let them get a little bit more confidence. But yeah, Smith and Shepherd down back, like you say, a little bit more pace. I think who are the other ins? Hutchings and
I should remember this.
Big Tunny.
Oh, that's right. Tunbridge is in. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was a big surprise.
Well, that was an early mail, wasn't it? Because somebody posted a picture that had been taken from his phone where Big Scotty Lycett was congratulating him prior to the team announcement. So we knew that. We were ahead of the times. What do you make of that, Kyle? What's he going to add, or where do you see him fitting in? If he's obviously, well, it's likely he'll probably end up being the sub. But what's his likely role? Say if he wasn't a sub, where would you play him, or where would you start him?
Well, I'm pretty lucky because I was his sponsor last year, so I kept right up to date with how Tunny was. I actually gave him that nickname as well.
Tunny.
It's a ripper. Well thought out.
It is.
Thank you. All I did was take his last name at the first half of it and add knee at the end.
Well, that's good. That's really good that you explain that, because that was going to be my next question, is how the hell did you come up with that particular nickname for him, because it's just so clever.
I thought he must have been really heavy.
What do you call him, Harbour or something like that?
Harbour.
Yeah. Harby. Harbo.
Harbour Bridge.
Ah, right.
Just getting silly.
Nah, Tunny's better. Makes him sound like a big fella.
I
Big
texted
Tunny.
to him as well.
I just want to pause it for 2 secs, guys, because I can do that.
So we're off pause.
I can cut. I can cut this out too. So it's
Please don't.
Hey, we got to sound a little bit professional here.
So, yeah, Tunbridge.
Anyway, we talked
Are we
about
recording?
Tunbridge, so we can skip back to Doc now. No, I'm just joking, Cole. You get your chance to shine, mate. Come on.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, are we recording?
We have been for the last 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, we'll start
pass
again.
me
We'll
Yeah,
No,
start.
keep going. Just cut it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just start talking about Tunbridge.
So that's how he got his nickname.
Big Tunny makes him sound like a big fella. So what's he going to add to the team? Where would you play him?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I have no idea how he's going in the waffle, so I'm just going to wing it here by what I've seen around our lovely board, and apparently he could be that big-bodied midfielder, and I'm happy for that. So maybe big-bodied midfielder role.
How tall is he?
8'9", something.
I think.
He's 189.
15 foot,
No, that's Jeremy McGovern, isn't it?
Big Tunny.
10 inches.
Oh dear. So the other in Shepherd. We had Shepherd Appreciation Week unofficially. Everyone got in on that, and he let us down with a subpar game.
Did he ever?
Too much of a build-up. He couldn't do it. He couldn't handle it.
Yeah, how's he going to cope against the bigger-bodied Essendon midfielders? He's just going to get bashed up, isn't he?
Bigger bodied, eh? How do they do
What
that?
are you implying?
Now,
Will the big-bodied midfielders be playing?
Hocking's out.
Hocking's
So
out.
that's one of their bigger bodies.
Yep.
So
The Bell Chambers is back, I saw.
yeah, Bell
Billy.
Chambers back in for Danaher, which is, I imagine, because of Natnoe and Cox, they didn't want to have Danaher
Yep.
exposed to those two. I guess they needed a bigger body.
Someone's got to blow on Cox all night, so he keeps falling over for him. So that's Bell Chambers' job.
Yep, they needed to get the bell end on Cox. So
Oh,
I was waiting for that. I'm glad you did it.
but there's a bit of talk, actually. There's a bit of rumour circulating that Watson will be a late out. There's a bit of controversy surrounding him at the moment. He may not even line up tomorrow night.
Watson will line up and have 30 possessions and kick 3 goals.
Okay, just completely counter me then, Keys.
Yeah, no, it's the Essendon way this year. Every week that they're in the spotlight because of this drugs thing. They come out and play a blinder. They did it against Adelaide in round 1. They did it against Fremantle when they came over to Perth, and I think they're going to do it the same to us.
Yeah,
You
but
reckon they're going to kill us?
Yep. I think
No,
I don't know
we're
if
going
they'll
to win
kill
by
us.
9 points.
Yeah, I don't know that they'll kill us, but they'll certainly. If we beat them, we're going to be at our very best because they'll perform because they'll be on. I think them going on the road, I think it gets their heads screwed on properly. It gives them a chance to get out of Melbourne as a team, and the drugs thing is bonding them together because it's almost them against the world in some respects, and it does seem to fire them up. And with Watson's come out, I blurted it out on the couch where he's said he's admitted to taking the AOD or whatever it is, and he'll feel obliged to come out and play a blinder, and he's a quality player. We'll do well if we stop him.
Yeah, it certainly seems that those types of issues injects a bit of enthusiasm into the Essendon side.
Clever. You clever monkey.
And that said, who lines up on Watson then? Because we do know he's a quality player.
Adam Selwood.
Yeah, he's not playing, mate. Thankfully.
Scott Selwood.
He's not playing either.
Troy, get him in.
He'd be just as good as Adam, so he'd get a game, wouldn't he?
Yeah, for a while there, it didn't look like we had the worst ever Selwood, but looks like we do.
Maybe that's what's Adam's problem been this year. They swapped him out for Troy.
And no one's noticed.
They do look alike. So
Watson would have been Scooter.
Yep.
McGinnity now, I think.
Mate,
McGinnity.
maybe they're going to throw Tunbridge to the Wolves and say, here you go, boy.
Chuck
Big
on
body, just run with Watson all night.
Just chuck on a pair of sweatbands on your wrists and be like your mate down the road. Just don't pinch.
We won't even tag him.
No, probably not.
No, the games between Essendon and West Coast just seem to be usually free-flowing, fast-paced type games. It's usually
That's why we get belted.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're on, we're on. You know, I think if we're cleaner and we play as well as we did last week, we'll probably win. But having said that, we have lost. Well, Hearn was gone for the majority of the game, so he was already counted as an out. But Scott Selwood, I'm not sure when he actually did his boo-boo to his thumb. But
Scott pretty much played the whole game.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Last week.
So really, minus Scott Selwood, that's probably about the extent of it. And look, the consistency of the guys playing together seems to be an issue. So all I'm saying is, if we play to the potential that we do have, then we're quite a good chance to have a win. But if we don't, I think that that game style is definitely going to suit Essendon, because they've got those quick running players, the big body midfielders that can extract the ball from the ruck contest, and they'll quite easily read Nick Naitanui all night. So be an interesting one, definitely.
Tough game.
Oh, I think so. One of the comments I made to an Essendon poster was that how's their backline going to handle all the tools? I know Jakey Carlisle's been quite handy for them down back this year. Sorry, who else is, you've got Kennedy, you've got Jack Darling, you've got the resting ruck, and Lacroix maybe if he's thrown down there. So how do they manage that? Who have they got to be able to do that, Doc?
I have no idea. Does Big Fatso Hurley play back anymore, or is he a big bustling centre-half forward now?
He's out.
He's out?
Yeah.
Oh,
they got Fletcher back, don't they?
Oh, yeah, Fletcher. I forgot about him.
Is he playing? Is he lining up?
No,
Fletcher, you'd imagine, would take Kennedy, I think.
Or does he normally try to play the loose man sort of thing now? Because if he takes more than 5, his arthritis kicks in.
Yeah, and he forgets where he is.
And he loses all his notes.
He tells the rest of the players to stay off the grass.
Yeah.
I don't think Fletcher played last week.
He's back in this week,
And
though.
I can't remember.
Am I reading that wrong?
No.
They're
Bell
not leaving
Chambers.
anything,
Oh,
I'm guessing.
maybe
I'm just trying to find.
Is he gone?
Hello.
Anyway. Yeah, everyone's here.
I'm trying to pick up who came in.
Yeah, I was having a look for that too. It seems to have disappeared off the AFL
Dempsey's
website.
come back in.
We'll just have a chat then, Kyle. We'll just have a chat, Kyle, while they're sorting
Dempsey
it out.
and Bell Chambers.
First one finds it, wins.
Dempsey and Bell Chambers in.
Yeah.
And Danaher and Hocking are out. And Hurley has been named.
That was right.
Yeah, so
Hurley has been named, so...
Well, no, he probably plays forward anyway, so...
I think he's a bit of a
I
swinger.
think only Essendon. Hang on.
He's a bit of a swinger though, isn't
Well,
he?
he's been named at...
He's a massive swinger.
He's named as centre-half, and actually fullback, Michael Hurley.
Oh,
Is he?
There you go.
See, here I am doubting myself.
Yep,
What an idiot. I should just trust my instincts. I'm smarter than I think.
How dare you doubt yourself, Doc?
Can I just add how surprising it was that no one seemed all that devastated by Embley's omission.
Who's Embley?
No. I think we were cheering it, weren't
Well,
we?
I call him Stompy now, or Knee.
Stompy.
Stampy.
Stampy.
Yes, wow.
He just, I don't know. I'm done with him.
That was a brain snap, wasn't it?
He's dead to me.
Gee, Robbo was on 360. He was quite animated about the incident.
Oh, shock me. Robbo overreacts to something. What a surprise. I didn't think it was... Well, I mean, what he did was bad, but you have to... I wish they'd show the 30 seconds of him having his leg held trying to get up before he dropped the knees in. It wasn't as if he would
But he didn't just... But the way he dropped it...
Oh, no, I'm not defending him. I wish he had got 7 or 8 weeks. But I think... I think
surprised he got
outrage is... yeah, well, I thought he would have got more than that, for sure.
It looked a lot worse than what it really was.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, look, it probably looked worse.
It looked bad, but it was no more damage than a Crowley pinch.
Or 300 Crowley pinches, though.
Wasn't that amusing?
300 knees to the chest.
300 knees, 300 Embley knees.
Yeah, little skeletal knees.
That's all right. That's a Fremantle issue, and we don't really want to talk about Fremantle on this podcast. So
no, definitely not.
Let's move on, guys. Tips for this Essendon game. I'm going to put it out there. I reckon we are going to get up by a margin of 15 points tomorrow night. How about you, Doc?
I think we will lose by 10, but it'll be close, and someone will stuff up late. Let's say it would be Shepherd. Shepherd's going to cost us the game, so you heard it here first.
Oh, Shepherd's going to cost us the game.
Yep. That'll get him talking.
Just a segue. That's a perfect way to get into you, Kyle. What's your tip for this week, mate? We won't make you go last.
We'll win by 9 points.
And now that's a fresh recording from this week, guys. That's not me just inserting it from last week. He's just being clever, I think. So 9 points.
And we know it's not because Kevin Rudd's the Prime Minister again. So yeah, this is live.
This is live. This is live.
Unless you're 5 years old.
Oh, 5 years old.
So Kevin 07. Woo!
Yeah, 2008 is going to be a great year.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Adam Cocky can bring to the team.
What about you don't finish anywhere near the bottom?
Yeah, Jared Oakley-Nichols, he's going to be a star. Keys, what's your tip?
Essendon by 20.
Ooh.
Oh, far out.
That's depressing. Right, okay. Now, guys, we are going to, each week, whoever decides to come onto this... Yes. No.
Sorry.
What the hell was that?
That of origin. Queensland's got to try, I'm sorry. That wasn't me saying yes, it wasn't my female.
No, I bloody well hope not, mate.
Yes! Yes!
As I was saying, each week we'll have a scout on the board and each come up with a post that's either the best or the funniest or the most insightful. Seeing as we didn't have much notice to do this, I've just picked an easy one and it's a personal one dear to my heart in the Tom Swift Life After Footy thread. Tom Swift, What a Champ, by Jason223. That's my favourite because I was a big Swift fan for no particular reason. Doc, have you come up with one?
Yes, I've got a quick top 3. I'll rush through them very quickly. The first one is from Chris6678. In the Game Day thread, he writes, awesome write-up as usual. Very clever. Swift for PM says, great preview as usual. Yeah, well, I tend to agree. And the last one, I'm going to go with Fremantle fan Tasmania. Often quite a bit of a bell, but he said good OP. So there you go. Polarising opinions. Can't agree with them all.
And they're all about you, aren't they?
Oh, I'm not sure. I assume they're talking just about everyone. We're all good blokes here.
I think I used to do those previews, didn't I?
That was QS, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
That was last year.
Is this still 2008?
A very good one though.
Oh, 2008. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't even exist yet, so.
I found a very good post actually, which I think is the best post of the week.
Okay, we'll be judging
stiff
that.
Competition.
But anyway, go on.
Okay, it was in the RDT this evening at exactly 7:38 p.m. and actually done by our lovely friend Keyser Soze. I'll say it. I'll spell it out. I'll actually read it out. When did this become the SRP board? Gillard and Rudd with a rusty 10-foot pole, I say. In
Wow.
quotation marks.
Keys can't win because he's part of this podcast. Unless, Keys, have you got a post that you want to bring up or not?
Help a brother out.
Well,
There's a couple more in the game day thread I could lend to you if you like.
no, I think
No more about you.
Oki got something right. Foxy got something right about something. I can't remember what it was, so it can't have been important.
Okay, so...
I don't believe it.
And I think we spoke about him enough already.
Right. Well, considering Doc's was about himself, yours was about Coxie, who we've already given plenty of airtime to, and Kyle's was about Keys, who's part of this podcast. None of yous can win, so I reckon the Tom Swift one wins. He's the inaugural, the inaugural RDP post of the week, so that's...
What was his post?
He said Tom Swift, what a champ, or something along those lines. Just a simple... There you go, yeah, Tom Swift.
I like it.
Tom Swift, what a champ, today at 3:50pm by Jason
Did
223.
he get any likes?
No, he didn't. I'm going to like it right now.
We should all go on and like it right now. I like it.
And that's your reward. You get your post liked by everyone on this RDP. But what's even better?
Well done. Congratulations.
What's even better is look at his avatar. He's sticking with the Brad Scott avatar, and he looks
commitment.
That is commitment. He's in there till the next North game, which is not likely to be finals because they're not going to make it, and we're not going to make it. So it'll be next year. So
commitment or laziness?
I don't know. Well, he's a relative newbie too. April 29th, 2013, 103rd post. Or
It was a ripper too.
It was.
Great post, mate.
It was a great post. So well done. Right. Well, that's it for this week, and we've really just talked crap for longer than last week. So I hope you're still with us, and thanks for listening. You want to say
Thanks
bye,
for
guys?
hearing me. Yes. Goodbye, West Coast Board. Enjoy football tomorrow night.
Yeah, Thursday night football. Hooray.
I love you all.
Someone keeps getting emails.
Enjoy the game, guys, and hopefully we do win, despite my tip. Hopefully I'm wrong. And I should drink less than 20 beers tomorrow night. So that would be
brilliant. Let's football well, guys.
Shit.
No, I've got work the next day. I can't.
Well, that's the beauty of a Thursday night game. We'll catch you next week.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Bye. See ya.
Bye bye. Hooray.